Alright Helldivers, suit up, because Cyberstan isn't going to liberate itself. Super Earth has issued a brand new directive, and this time we're targeting one of the Cyborg's most important assets, the Cyborg Assembly Unit. If we want to slow down their war machine, we need to hit them where it hurts, right at the source of production. In this video, we're diving straight into how to demolish the Cyborg Assembly Unit in Helldivers 2, and I'll walk you through exactly what you need to do to complete the objective fast and get out alive. Whether you're dropping in with a full squad coordinating stratagems like pros, or you're going solo and relying purely on skill and timing, this mission can go south very quickly if you're not prepared. We'll break down the objectives step by step, talk positioning, weak points, and the safest way to extract once the fireworks start. So grab your best loadout, call in your stratagems wisely, and let's make Super Earth proud. I'm quickly moving on to the video. Before we start,
to the
if
channel.
you enjoy these types of list
Please
videos,
don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos.
Enjoy watching.
Thanks.
In Helldivers 2, the mission to demolish the Cyborg Assembly Unit on Cyberstan is not just a simple plant the bomb and leave situation. You are basically invading the Cyborg's home turf, and they are not happy about it. Before you can even think about stepping inside the facility, you have to weaken it from the outside. That means flooding the pipelines that feed the complex and sabotaging the cooling towers that prevent the whole place from overheating. Expect heavy resistance while doing this, because the cyborgs will throw everything they have at you to protect their precious factory. Once those external systems are down, that is when the real fun begins. You push into the facility itself, fighting through waves of armored enemies, and finally reach the assembly unit. From there, your objective is to turn the machine into one giant explosive, set it up properly, hold your ground while it arms, and then get ready to extract before the entire structure goes up in flames. It is chaotic, it is intense, and if your squad is not communicating, it can go wrong very fast. But if you coordinate well and stay focused, watching that cyborg factory explode is one of the most satisfying moments in the game. On Cyberstan in Helldivers 2, one of the first things you will notice after landing is that massive wall and the huge reinforced door blocking your way. It looks intimidating, and if you charge straight at it without a plan, you can get overwhelmed very quickly. Instead of going in guns blazing, a smarter approach is to move along the outer wall and look for a drainage tunnel. It is a much quieter way to slip into the city, and if your squad plays it cool, you can avoid drawing half the map onto your position. Of course, if subtlety is not your style, you can always go for the dramatic option. Bringing in a tank or calling down heavy artillery to blow the door wide open absolutely works. It is loud, it is chaotic, and it will alert every enemy nearby. But if your team is ready for the incoming fight and positioned properly, that explosive entrance can actually give you control of the engagement instead of getting boxed in at a choke point. There is also a third option if you are running a warp pack. You can warp directly through the door, which feels almost unfair in the best way possible. The key is positioning. Make sure you are close enough to the door before activating the warp, or you might end up wasting it. If timed correctly, it is a fast and stylish way to bypass the obstacle and surprise whatever is waiting on the other side. In Helldivers 2, flooding the hydrogen pipelines on Cyberstan is one of those objectives that sounds simple on paper, but gets messy fast if you are not careful. Open your map, locate the marked pipeline clusters, and move toward them as a squad. They are usually grouped fairly close together, so reaching them is not the hardest part. The real challenge begins once enemies spot you, because interacting with the pipelines leaves you exposed and vulnerable. When you reach a pipeline, interact with it and start turning the wheel. You need to keep turning it until the indicator reaches the red zone, which means the line is flooded and no longer operating within a safe range. Make sure someone on your team is covering you while you do this, because you cannot defend yourself effectively mid-interaction. Repeat the process for each marked pipeline, and once they are all pushed into the red, you will complete this phase of the objective and move one step closer to crippling the facility. Back on Cyberstan in Helldivers 2, the next phase of the mission is taking down the cooling towers that keep the facility from overheating. You are going to need a hell bomb for this, so either call in the objective-related stratagem or bring a portable hell bomb with you before pushing in. Without it, you are not bringing those structures down, no matter how much ammunition you throw at them. The tricky part is that you have to get close to the tower to plant the hell bomb, and that is exactly where the enemy pressure ramps up. Expect heavy resistance as soon as you move into position. This is the perfect time to chain your stratagems together. Use tools like the orbital laser to clear out large groups and create breathing room, or take a stealthier approach to minimize attention before arming the device. Once the hell bomb is set, hold your ground just long enough to make sure it detonates, then move out before everything turns into a fireball. Now it is time to access the Cyborg Assembly Unit control room on Cyberstan in Helldivers 2 and finish the job properly. Once you reach the main terminal, you will have 7 separate steps to complete before the unit can be detonated. This is not a quick button press and done situation. The moment you start interacting with the console, reinforcements will begin moving in, so make sure your squad is set up to defend the area before anyone touches the terminal. One of the most stressful steps is the coded puzzle. You will see red symbols on the right side of the screen, and you must match them to their correct positions on the left. It sounds simple, but under pressure it can take longer than you expect. This is when you are at your most vulnerable, because your focus is split between decoding the puzzle and staying alive. Make sure at least one teammate is dedicated to crowd control while another handles the input. After the terminal steps, you will need to move around the facility and turn 4 separate valves. By this stage, the cyborg forces will likely be swarming your position. Try to thin them out methodically and, if possible, draw their fire away from the actual objective points. Creating small windows of breathing room is the key to safely turning each valve without getting overwhelmed. Be aware that some Helldivers have reported getting soft-locked if heavy enemy fire destroys the valve wheels before they can be used. If that happens, the objective can stall out completely. To avoid this, prioritize enemies that are shooting directly at the valve mechanisms and keep the immediate area as clear as possible while your teammate interacts with them. Once all 4 valves are turned, head back to the main terminal and continue the sequence. The door to the inner chamber will open, giving you access to the final set of controls. Inside the control chamber, interact with the last valves and adjust them until they turn red and begin to overload. When the terminal initiates the countdown, you will have exactly 30 seconds before detonation. At that point, stop fighting and start running. Sprint toward extraction and put as much distance between you and the facility as possible. The explosion is massive and staying too close will deal serious damage. Regroup with your squad, secure the extraction zone, and clear any remaining sub-objectives on your way out. That is how you turn a cyborg factory into rubble and secure true liberation. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.